Back two. Oh, yeah. Downed one. All right, when it comes to the loadouts, we'll get through the nuts and guts of it, and then we'll work on the weapon loadouts. So basically, this is my go-to build. I always run smokes for tactical, I always run dual charge for lethals, and I always run Vanguard as my perk package. So when it comes to tacticals, smoke is a great option. You can use it as a decoy, you can use it to escape, you can use it to mask your cover and your whole squad can rush up. But if you're not a big fan of smoke, you can also run flash grenades, stun grenades, and you've got snapshot grenades. They're all great options there, and they're all viable. When it comes to lethal dual charges, I love them. You can get campers out of buildings, throw them through walls, get breaks, get easy knocks. But if you're not a big fan of them, your other options here are probably frag grenades, semtex, and you can also run the old favorite, throwing knives. If you don't want to waste ammo on that down, you can use your throwing knife, get that down without using any ammo, which is really helpful in quads when ammo's limited, when you've got a whole squad rushing you. When it comes to perk packages, however, I just think Vanguard is the most complete and best perk package as a whole, as all of these perks are viable and all of them are good. Like, if I was able to build one, I'd probably build one like this. You've got double time for that double tactical sprint. You've got bomb squad to reduce your damage when taking explosive damage. You've got resupply, which is crazy OP. You can just spam your smokes, spam your dual charges all through a match and not have to worry about running out. Every 30 seconds you get a new smoke and a new dual charge, and it counts up to 2. And then you've got high alert, which basically puts a big orange blur on your screen if someone's looking at you outside of your screen, which can save your life so many times. Get back up in the high. Oh, I'm getting looked at. On our level. On our level. And behind me.
Yeah, he's down.
Your other options here in the perk packages are, if you want sleight of hand, you can go commando. The ACE perks aren't that great. You've got scavenger and strong arm, which are pretty useless in Warzone. But you've got sleight of hand and high alert. If you really want ghost, there are 2 options for ghost. So I've got spectre and scout. Both of these aren't the best when it comes to other perks. You do have ghost, which can really save your end game, but the rest of the perks aren't great. You've got double time on this one and spotter, but then this one you've just got focus, and the rest of the perks are pretty bad, including focus. If you're sniping, I'd probably go for focus with ghost. If you're not sniping, I guess I'd go for spotter, but they're not great. Now, you may be wondering where overkill is. You've only got one option for overkill, and that's weapon specialist, which is hands down probably the worst perk package in the entire game. You've got survivor, which is absolutely useless. You've got spotter, you've got strong arm, and then you've got overkill. And I don't really see the point of overkill when you can go to a buy station and buy your weapons back, and when your secondaries are great options and viable within that close range and have top TTKs. So there's no real point in taking this perk package, in my opinion. Talking about secondaries that are a great viable option, we'll start with the X13. So the X13 we've got here, and this is my personal favorite build. So you've got the FTC Steel series, which gives you a bullet velocity and damage range and gives you a little bit more recoil smoothness. You've got the XRK Luck 9 barrel, which gives you that movement speed, which can really help out. It does reduce your recoil control, however. So if you're struggling to control the recoil on this one, you can swap over to the Sidewinder barrel, which can really help out with that recoil control, but you do lose that movement speed bonus. You've got the 1 milliwatt laser, which is a given here. It's got that hip fire control and accuracy, and then you've got the obvious ones here, akimbo, and you've got the 33 round magazine. You can, however, put a 50 round on here, but I think it slows you down too much. The 33 is just a nice, good, even ground here. Another great secondary we have here is the Basilisk. So we've got the snake shot ammo here, which turns it into a shotgun basically. We've got the Bryson HTA trigger, which gives you that trigger response time and fire rate, which improves your fire rate a fair bit. You've got the 10.5 F-Tac arrow barrel, which increases your range and hip fire accuracy, which is massive for this thing. You've got the Revo LSD 7 milliwatt laser, which improves your hip fire control and accuracy. And then you've got akimbo here, obviously. And honorable mention here, if you're not a big fan of akimbo pistols, the Deagle absolutely slaps up. The way I build the Deagle is I build it for a mid-range weapon. This thing can two-hit people from a distance and is an absolute machine. So you've got the SA hair trigger to increase that fire rate by a lot. You've got the FTAC 50 comp, which helps with that vertical recoil control when you're spamming that trigger. You've got the SA long shot 50 barrel, which increases that damage range, bullet velocity. And I chuck the Cronin Mini Pro sight on here just to help with that target acquisition, as I find it's easier to aim and hit my shots with this sight. You can pick any one you want. I just prefer the Cronin Mini Pro as it's a nice clean blue dot. Then you've got the magazine. This thing starts with 7 at base. I've put 10 on there. You can go up to 13, but it does increase that movement speed loss and aim down sight speed a fair bit, and this thing's already a little bit slow to aim down sight. Now, when it comes to our main firepower, obviously, we've got the RPK, which is a staple in the community at the moment. So you've got the high velocity rounds here to increase that bullet velocity. Use the FTAC Ripper to help with that aim idle stability and recoil control. Got the SA Leveler 55 muzzle to help even more with that horizontal and vertical recoil control. I've got the Schlagen Pegbox 4 laser to help with that aim down sight speed without having to have a visible laser. And I run the AIM OP version 4 optic, which I find this optic really helps with that visual shake of the weapon, and it's just a nice, easy, clean sight. The next great option we have here is the RAAL MG. So same thing again, we've got them high velocity bullets, and we've got the SA side grip underbarrel, which massively improves your aim idle stability, recoil stabilization, and steadiness. I run the XRK Kraken muzzle, which also helps with our vertical recoil control. Got the EXF Golf 16 barrel, which helps with our recoil control and bullet velocity again here. And then again, we've got the AIM OP version 4 optic. Now, another option we have here is running the TAC V. The TAC V absolutely slaps up. It just has a little bit more recoil, so I prefer taking the RPK or the RAAL. But if you're a demon and you can control that recoil, this thing absolutely destroys. So you obviously start with a 50 round magazine here, as it starts with a 20 round. Can run the 30, but trios or quads that definitely take the 50 round mag. Got high velocity bullets here again. FTAC Ripper grip for that aim idle stability and recoil control. Got the Tempest GH50 muzzle for that vertical recoil control. It's got a fair bit. And then I also take the FSS combat grip just to help with that recoil control again here. If you do want to put an optic on this, I find this thing's got really clean iron sights, but if you do want an optic, you can either take off the grip or you can take off the FTAC Ripper underbarrel and put in an optic, either say the Cronin Mini Pro or the AIM OP version 4. What you'll find is the FTAC Ripper and the FSS combat grip both give pretty much the same results on this weapon when testing. The FTAC Ripper I think helps a bit more with that horizontal, whereas the FSS combat grip helps a tiny bit more with that vertical, but it's barely noticeable. Now we'll move on to our close range. So we've got the FENNEC for obvious reason. This thing has the quickest TTK in the game pretty much. So you've got the 45 round magazine. You need this pretty much. There's no other option here. I run the Lacetera compensator, which helps with that horizontal recoil control, as this thing's got a lot of horizontal bounce. I run the VLK LZR 7mm laser, which helps with that aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed. I run the Cronin Mini Pro sight, as I really can't use the iron sights on this thing. A lot of people can use the iron sights on the FENNEC and everything's pretty close, but I just find I hit more shots when I'm using the sight. If you don't need the sight and you can use the underbarrel, you can drop that and you can run the Agile Assault 7 stock, which helps again with that sprint speed, aim down sight speed, and aim walking speed, which is a really big help here. I just can't really use the iron sights on this thing, so I always chuck a sight on it. Then for the last thing, we've got the FENNEC rubber grip, which helps with our sprint to fire speed again and our aim down sight speed. Another option here is the MP5 for close range here. So I run the 50 round drum. You can drop that down to a 40 round drum if you're in solos or duos. I run the Lock Grip Precision 40 grip, which helps with our hip fire accuracy and recoil steadiness. Got the FTAC Castle comp, which helps with our horizontal recoil control and vertical recoil control. The VLK LZR 7mm laser again here for that aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. And I run the Mir Recoil 56 factory stock, which helps with our aim aim stability, recoil control, and sprint to fire speed. So this is a pretty good stock. Now, when it comes to our sniper support, and we can run these as close range weapons, as their TGK is very, very close to that of the submachine guns. And if you look at the statistics, they're actually within 0 to 9 meters. They're just in there as well. But as soon as you go beyond 9 meters, 11 meters, the Chimera and the 74U take up the top spots when it comes to TTK close range. A Chimera does take the cake. It's a little bit quicker than the KASTOV when it comes to TTK. However, I find this thing a little bit harder to control. So I personally prefer the 74U, but let's jump into the builds. So with a Chimera, I run a 45 round magazine here. That's the biggest magazine this thing's got, and you kind of need it. I've got the FTAC Ripper for that aim idle stability and recoil stabilization. We've got the TYLR8 muzzle to help with that horizontal recoil control. We've got the 6.5 inch EXF Vorpal barrel to help with that damage range and movement speed and aim down sight speed. This barrel also allows you to put the muzzle on to help with that recoil control, so you do need a barrel. We've got the VLK LZR 7mm laser for that aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed again here. Now for the 74U build, we've got 45 round magazine obviously. And this one I run the high velocity ammunition. We've got the FTAC Castle Comp muzzle again for that horizontal and vertical recoil control. The FSS OLEV laser for that aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. And I won the Ultrazat stock, which helps with our aim walking speed and sprint speed. Now I've also got an honorable mention here. The M4 is a machine. It's just not that great at far ranges. It's very close to mid-range weapon here. This one's pretty much built for mid-range. So we've got the 60 round magazine, FTAC Ripper under barrel again for that aim idle stability and recoil control. Got the FTAC Castle Comp muzzle for that horizontal and vertical recoil control. We've got the high tower 20 inch barrel for bullet velocity and damage range and added recoil control as well. And then I've got the Chrono Mini Pro optics on this thing. You can take whatever optics you want again. Now, when it comes to snipers, the only viable option in my opinion is the Signal 50, as it allows for them quick knocks and you can have follow-up shots without having to reload are good, but I find by the time you rechamber around, the person you've shot at's either ducked, moved, or gotten behind cover. I find the Signal 50 is the only viable option when it comes to sniping, and it's a 2-hit kill as long as you hit a chest shot or a headshot and somewhere else in the body. So my build for this one is the 50 cal high velocity ammunition. We've got the FTAC Ripper barrel again for that aim idle stability and recoil stabilization. I find it really helps to keep that dot centered. Got the Bruin counter ops muzzle, which helps with our bullet velocity damage range. I run the FSS OLEV laser for that aim down sight speed and a bit of sprint to fire speed. And I like the Raptor FV40 optic. It really helps over very far ranges where it just moves that dot for you, so you don't have to worry about bullet drop. But if you're happy with the stock sight on the Signal 50, you can drop that off, and you can either run 29 inch TV kilo barrel, which adds to bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil control. Or what a lot of people are doing is go to your rear grip, and you can put on the stalwart grip to add to that flinch resistance, as when people are shooting at you and you're trying to snipe them, this thing can significantly help with that flinch. All right, well, that was my top loadouts for Warzone 2.0. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Make sure you check out my video on the complete guide to long shots in Modern Warfare 2 on how to unlock that platinum camo. Cheers for watching again. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one.